While the media was focused on the Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, Republicans cut a deal with Senate Democrats to fast-track nearly a dozen corporate judicial nominees to the federal bench. Same old shiny thing, isn't it? It's the media. We're talking about appointment to the Supreme Court. Here's what people don't talk about. So few cases actually make it to the Supreme Court where it comes to really where it comes to big volume. Most cases are decided way down the ladder. Federal judges, district trial judges, appellate court judges, they're the ones that decide what the laws of this land are. So while we've been screwing around, just everybody's attention, the Supreme Court, Supreme Court, Supreme Court, because those are the social issue focuses. While that's been going on, Trump has appointed 26 and 10 more, by the way, 10 more coming right behind it.
Right. That's 26 in the last 2 months.
2 months, excuse me.
26 in 2 months.
Yeah.
23 in the part of the year before the announcement of Kavanaugh. So 49 as of today, appointed, confirmed, lifetime appointments. These guys are set. 49, 10 or possibly as many as 12. They still don't know the exact number coming down the pipeline because you had your Democrats cut this deal with Republicans for no reason.
There was absolutely zero reason to cut the deal.
Right. They were in the position of power knowing the midterms were coming up, but instead, without being forced to, rolled over to show their belly and said, okay, you can do this because this is going to help us.
Let me talk about a couple things here. First of all, being a lawyer who practices in front of federal judges all the time, I know what a federal judge can not just do about the case that I'm bringing forward, but about the entire project nationally. For example, you got a judge in California on Monsanto. I mean, his rulings are horrendous. I mean, his pace is horrendous. An Obama appointee, Roundup probably in the Monsanto case is terrifying. So here you've got a federal judge that can change the whole nature of the way litigation takes place to the point where we have to avoid that federal judge. We have to actually go to state courts and get the case handled in state courts because we can't trust a federal judge. I don't have anything to do with that, obviously, that federal case out in California. That's the MDL. But I do have to do with state court judges that are changing the policy where it comes to the dangers of Roundup and what we ought to do taking off. So the point being, these judge appointments at the lower levels are far more important, even the Supreme Court judge. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And Republicans understood that and have for decades. Democrats never caught on to that idea. But Republicans understand that. That's why they've been forcing these people through. Mitch McConnell has done a wonderful job of sending Trump nominees because Trump doesn't know who to pick. He's not a government guy. He doesn't know these people. So McConnell, with help from Heritage, Federalist Society, is pushing through these pro-corporate, anti-consumer judges that will do far more damage for a much longer time than Kavanaugh will.
Yeah.
But Kavanaugh's horrible. I mean, let's not overlook that at all.
We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But the point being, it's again, the media, it's all shiny things. Right now, the only thing we can pay attention to is Kavanaugh. And we're going to ignore the fact that some of the judges that Trump is appointing, they have been evaluated as unqualified by the very agency that's asked to qualify them. One judge was disqualified, was rated unqualified because he was so lazy, because he couldn't render decisions, because he never worked. And so these are the types of things that are happening. I mean, can you imagine being outmaneuvered by Mitch McConnell, the turtle man? I mean, can you imagine? But that's what's happened here.
It is. And listen, Trump inherited 108 lower court vacancies. He's appointed, I think, at least 100. He still has 126 now. We're talking about maybe 250 judges by the end of the first term that this guy's going to have.
They've made it very clear. This is their proclamation. We are going to transform the entire judiciary.
And they have.
And they have. That's what they're saying right up front. We're going to transform the entire judiciary. Let's give a couple of examples. Okay, Obamacare. Now, Obamacare was beat up so bad, not in the Supreme Court, but in all the lower federal courts, to where there was a time where, it almost became a disaster. It may still be a disaster. So the point is, here was legislation that actually improved the lives of a lot of Americans. Whichever side you're on, you got to argue there were some improvements.
Right.
But federal judges with ideology. See, we want to think that a federal judge doesn't have an ideology, that somehow they're above the fray. Most of these federal judges come up through the political process. A lot of them are just purely political hacks. They've never tried a case. They've never been a judge. In any capacity, and they're appointed to these federal judgeships for life. That's the intent of what the Republicans want to do in transforming this judiciary. Farron Cousins, thanks a lot. Stories just get more and more interesting every week as this Trump administration marches on.